take a second. Write your objective. Who can read the objective? Corinne, what does the objective say today?
I will be able to describe positive and negative numbers, real world situations.
Stop. Only because today is a review day, we're actually covering two different skills, but that's the skill we're going to be talking about first. So we're going to stop right there. I will be able to describe with positive and negative numbers real world situations. So go ahead and take a minute, write that down. Alex, do you need something to write? There was actually a piece of writing. So Louis, what are we working on today? What are we working on today? Read the objective.
Division of fractions.
No. What does our objective say? Positive and negative numbers. Can you repeat that? Louis? Great. Positive and negative numbers. All set?
No.
So, while everybody's kind of finishing up, who can tell me something about positive numbers? So we used this skill before.
No way.
I know, I'm just moving over a little bit.
I can see.
First, what's something you remember about positive numbers? They are larger than negative numbers, that's correct. Anything else about positive numbers? They're on the right side. Can you be a little bit more specific?
They are on the right side of the
X. X.
Of the number line, which is after what?
Zero.
0. Great. What about negative numbers?
They're to the left.
Jaden, remember we've got to raise our hand, please. I'm sorry.
left of the number line.
They're to the left of the number line. And what happens as the negatives get larger? What actually happens to them? As they move away from 0, what happens to them, Alex?
They turn negative.
They turn negative, but what else happens to them?
They get bigger, but they're actually smaller.
Oh, so what do you mean by that? They get bigger, but they're actually smaller.
Because if
I
you
get
have,
it, but explain it.
if you have a positive number and you have a negative number and they're the same exact number, the negative number is different because it's less of that. That is how much is taken away.
Excellent. Okay? So let's think about, we're going to talk about situations that represent positive and negative numbers. So if I asked you to go up the stairs, would that be a positive situation or a negative situation? Generally.
Oh.
Why will it be positive? So we're going up. We're going above the floor level. What might be an example of going in the negative direction?
Down.
Eliza,
Down.
down what?
Stairs.
Down the stairs. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Inside, Janelise has already found hers. Inside of your folder, I have placed a playing card. On the right pocket, there's an index, there's a card. Instead, did I have your folder? Okay.
What that?
Here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Instead of me giving you the situation and you telling me whether or not it's positive or negative, I want you to create the situation using your card. So the number represents the integer, and the color is going to represent the sign. So if you have a red card, that's negative. If you have a black card,
That's positive.
that's going to be positive. And so what I'm going to do is take out a card. What do you think it's going to be? Positive or negative?
Positive.
It's positive.
Yeah.
It's a positive 3. I'm going to take a whiteboard, and actually I have a big whiteboard right here.
Okay.
And I'm going to write on my whiteboard, positive 3. And I want to think of a situation that's going to represent positive 3.
We went up the stairs.
And this is very simple, and I'm hoping you guys are going to be able to be more creative. Going up 3 stairs. Does that represent a positive 3?
Yeah.
It does.
Wouldn't it be more like 3 flights of stairs?
It could either be 3 stairs or it could be 3 flights of stairs. It depends how you want to identify the unit. So think for a minute about your card. Think about all the other different things that we talked about probably about a month ago when we were working on the skill of describing quantities as positive and negatives. Who remembers when we... Could you do me a favor and pass out a board to everybody? Who remembers... Can you do the erasers, Eliza? Somebody do the markers? And we do have more boards if we need more boards. Who remembers when we did the activity with the mountain and the ocean?
Oh yeah, I did.
And what did we do in that activity, Jaden? Do you remember?
We used the ocean as negative, and then we used the mountain as positive.
And then what did we do?
We drew animals.
We drew...
To
Go ahead.
show how much, like, how far up the animals are, and how below the animals are.
So remember we talked about how far the shark could be or the submarine could be below the 0, and then how the hitchhikers could be above. Yep, see the box right under there? So what I'd like you to do is write your integer at the top of your board. If you didn't get a marker yet, they're coming around. I do have some markers in case some of those don't work, because we never know. So everyone's going to write their integer at the top of their board. Use the blank side. Well, unless you want to use the top. If you want to use that for writing, that's okay.
What do you say?
So at the top, you're going to put your integer. What did your card say? You need a card.
Me?
You need a marker.
No.
You need a board. We've got to practice passing things out here. There's your marker. There's a board for him. Thank you. Here's a card for Chris. Okay? So you have your integer at the top. Now I want you to think. Write in big words because we're going to actually, this is not the only activity. This is not the only part of the activity. Now make sure you write it big enough so everybody can see your situation and write neatly. Neatly. How do you do that?
Swim. Oh, swim. Not swimming.
Well, how do you swim up 3 feet?
Like,
But up is this way. So you swim out of the water?
yeah.
I can see if you're diving, you're going down, and that would be negative. But I'm not quite sure you can swim up 3 feet. You could swim across 3 feet, but we're talking about positive and negative. That's a good one. Is that representing positive or negative?